These were the scenes ahead of kick-off yesterday, as an expected Dons crowd hoped that we would come away from Kilmarnock with something. And thanks to Stuart Armstrong's first goal for the club, we did. It's our first win in Ayrshire, believe it or not, in 5 years. And it's our first back-to-back league victories since September 2024. It means that we've climbed one place in the table. But look, just look how tight it is. And we're really not far off the top half of the table. 3 wins out of 4 in the league. You could argue that's momentum. Hello everybody, how you doing? A very warm welcome to Ali Beg ABTV this Thursday night, the night after we won another game of football. But by God was it ugly. Oh my God was it ugly. But I tell you what, there were many negatives, many positives, but what I will say is that we grinded out a result last night, and I think a few months ago we would have either drawn that game or have gone on to lose it. So for me, as much as it was at times, we got the points. That is the most important thing at the moment. I don't care how we win a game of football at the moment. We just have to win games of football. Do it as ugly as you like. Just win. And we did. 3 out of 4. We now have a week's rest. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Ahead of our wee trip to Cyprus in the Conference League. A week tonight. Early kick-off, don't forget as well. So, yeah. For me, the positives last night, obviously getting 3 points, obviously keeping a clean sheet. But I thought Dylan Lobben, I thought he was absolutely fantastic. What a debut he made. There's some fantastic stuff on Aberdeen socials going back 10 years ago when he was just a wee boy. And I honestly just thought he was great. I really did. Showed maturity beyond his years. Loved how he wanted to get forward. There was a break in the second half where the boy Deers just got the ball away just before Marco was ready to pull the trigger. And it was Dylan that kept the move going because there was a tight pass and he had the bravery to make it deep in his own half to keep us going forward. For me yesterday, again, 1 or 2 players very guilty of passing the ball back. We really have to start coaching these players to go forward. That's what a game of football is all about. We have to go forward, guys. Don't always go back. It was becoming quite annoying yesterday. But look, we got the results, the most important thing. There's no Andrew Budge tonight because Andrew, unfortunately, is still not available. Hoping to get him back after next week. But what I have done is I've just pinpointed a couple of examples of where we need to be a lot more careful, particularly at set pieces, because on another night we would have got punished. Kilmarnock were woeful with their finishing last night, and I've got a couple of examples that I'm going to show you where we're still very, very, how can I put it? Crap. It's the only way to say it. And we have to improve. We really do. Right, the team news. So the manager made 4 changes to the side that lost to Hibs. In came the skipper for Antti Palaversa. In came Dylan for Gavin Malloy. Don't forget it's his first start. In came Dante for Polvara. He came in for Adil Ashish. And Marko Lazetic came in for Kevin Nisbet. I have to say, I thought Dante put in a shift last night. A quiet shift. But enough for me to show that he needs more game time. Because what I fear about Dante is that he may think that he's not getting enough game time and we may lose him for nothing. And I don't want that to happen because I think there's a player there and I think he can do a job for us. Okay, here's your stats. And tonight I've got it right. I've actually got these stats right and I've not completely cocked it up like I did last week. So 43.3% possession of the ball. Look at the difference though. I found that quite interesting. They had 14 shots in total to our 6. They had 4 on target to our 3. Now look at the touches inside the box. I find that quite concerning, that they had 27 touches inside our box to our 9. And then they had, look at that, that's a high percentage, 9 shots inside our box just to our 1. Now I know it's results, that's all we care about, I get that, but for the guys that do all the analysis at the football club, and there's 2 or 3 of them, they need to be looking at this. And this kind of stuff needs to be made aware to the manager. I'm sure he's absolutely all over it, but this is where we need to be so much more careful. This is the manager. Here he is after the game last night.
No, I think the things to talk about after the last game and before this game about this individual responsibility in the 50-50, the situations, the competitive side of the game, was, we know beforehand, it's going to be super important today, and every player show up today and give everything for the club and our fans and the teammates, and how they fight the last second of the game, and so it was a good thing to see. Sometimes games are really difficult. It's not the perfect rhythm. More about second balls or set plays, but you have to try to find a way to win these games also. Now we have win this one, and also St. Mirren away is a difficult game, but we have clean sheet. We keep the calmness in the end of the game, because they're pushing, but we find this calmness and this competitive side of the game. So I'm really proud of the players, because it's a difficult and pressing time right now. And still they can go out and do this, have this, don't get too stressed. The other thing is a late Wednesday game away, and all the fans are here today. Is just, what can I say about that? Is they have the belief, and the players have the belief, and we have to keep pushing until, and if we keep doing this in the difficult times, and then we keep pushing, then try to grow all the time, then we get on the other side also, and also get more consistency in our performances.
Thank you, Jimmy. So, just before I get you guys on, a gentle reminder that Ali Beg ABTV is supported by and brought to you by Saltire Energy, the global market leader in specialist drilling equipment rental. And don't forget, they also offer services like torquing, testing, refurbishment and welding. Offices and conferences and warehouses and everything attributed to Saltire all over the world. They're global as well. So if you're looking for any of those type of services for the oil and gas industry, get in touch. Nobody does it better than Saltire Energy. Right, guys, so let's get you on and see what the script is tonight with you. So, where are we? Gordon Keith Ritchie came on first and he said, "Good evening all, good to get a win. Now time to build on it and climb the table and get wins and points on the board." Motherwell after Larnaca on the Sunday, on the 9th of November, 3 o'clock kickoff at Pittodrie. That's after Larnaca. Steve Williamson says, "Can I just say thank you for putting out the amount of shows you do during this busy game period. I'm sure I speak on behalf of all of your followers." And said, "Well done." Thank you so much, Steve. I really appreciate that. Mate, can I just say, it is an absolute pleasure. I am just as happy to do it. Trust me. The Gallo Glass says, "Good win. I have to say, though, concerns about Mittoff. We got away with one with Killy being offside. Joe Lewis used to take so much pressure off with his taking of crosses. Mittoff really has to work on this." Graham Gibbs, thanks, Steve. Graham Gibbs says, "How hard did we make that last night by sitting too deep? Could not understand why Talene did not make changes in the last 10 minutes. Lots of our players were running on empty." So, from what I understand, a lot of you watched the game on Killy TV last night, because obviously Red TV was down for a while. So eventually, once it came back up, I was able to tune in. I've watched the full game back this morning. But when I was able to tune in last night, that's exactly what our co-commentator Bobby Connor said, that he could not understand why no substitutions were being made, because at one point it looked like they were peppering us and it was calling out for a substitution or two. So Graham, you're absolutely spot on, mate. Grey Pilgrim says, great to get the 3 points. Knuster throwing himself in front of everything. That's effort we want every game. I thought he was brilliant last night. John Grant says, well done, Don. Second half was winning ugly, but we'll take it. Plastic pitch, terrible. It must give Killy a huge advantage. Why no red card for D's? Yeah, exactly same thing to Marco as Richardson to Ante. I agree. In fact, he didn't just kick him once. He bloody well kicked him twice. Kenny McDonald says, hi everyone, a backs to wall win but showed the fight and bodies on the line. A wee break now before our next game and a good run of fixtures for us. That type of win shows the fight is there. How do 1% govern 99% says, ugly win, but a win nonetheless. I don't think we finished top 6 with these players playing this formation. Grey Pilgrim says, I wondered if VAR would get the yellow card reviewed. No difference in the two challenges. Neil's on, he's wishing you a good evening, as he always does. Paul Donaldson is here. He says, good to be able to grind out a win. Great goal by Stuart Armstrong, being in the right place at the right time and able to hit it first time when it kindly fell to him. He took it well. Robin the Bold says, crazy thing is, we're only 5 points off third place. It's mad, isn't it? It's mental. Cameron Young says, hello, brilliant result last night. Glad to see young Dylan get his debut from Yimmy last night. On to Thursday's massive game against Larnaca. Graham Gibbs said, numerous times at Pittodrie they announced possible red card check and everyone looks at each other and goes, what for? Surely they looked at that last night. Supersonic Maxi says, hello everyone, wasn't the best performance but a hard fought 3 points we need to keep building. Bob Duff says, 3 points, great, but still miles away from where I think we should be. Yes, Bob. I don't think many will disagree, mate. Christopher Mainland said, only Celtic and Hearts have won more games than us this season. Honestly, it's mental. It's absolutely mental. David Drawn says, first win at Killy since 2020. Might not have been pretty, but at least we ground out and fought collectively for the 3 points rather than collapsing under pressure. Take that every day of the week. Bob Duff says, Dylan was superb last night. Very, very composed performance. Paul Donaldson says, same gap in points from second to third as from third to 10th. I'm telling you, we can climb. We can climb. Barry Cole says, good evening, Dandies. 3 points is 3 points. Defence was shaky first half, but solid second half. So, I want to show you a couple of things, right? So, first, before I do that, just a gentle reminder that is our next game against Larnaca next Thursday. It's a 17:45 kickoff in the UK. And I'm going to be getting some expert opinion on AEK Larnaca from a Cypriot football expert. So I'll be bringing you that interview on the preview show next Wednesday evening. Right, so this is what I wanted to do to show you a couple of examples. Now, this is not me being downtrodden, and please don't think I'm being downtrodden on the performance last night. I'm not. What I want to do is highlight the fact that we are still very shaky and very unorganised when it comes to set pieces against us. And on another night, Killy could have scored 3 goals against us purely from corner kicks. Dimitar made a brilliant save a little bit later on, but I want to show you the two because they were almost identical. So, hang on a second, just let me get my notes so that I've got the right notes here. Yeah, so the first one. This came on 22 minutes, just coming up to 22 minutes. Now, what I've done there is I've highlighted Marcus Dackers. Now, he is unmarked, as are the guy beside him and the guy behind him. You could argue that Knusters is in there defending him. But when the corner came in, Dackers ran round the corner, completely unchallenged, and got a free header in and headed it over the bar. That was warning number 1. which I was hoping we would sort out as we go further into the game. Unfortunately, we didn't. Just after half-time, Robbie Dees had an unbelievable chance to equalise. So that's his starting position from the corner. He made his way into the 6-yard box completely unchallenged, nobody near him, and somehow volleyed the ball over the bar. Now, we have seen these examples time and time and time again. Andrew Budge and I show you these examples all the time, and we never seem to learn. I don't know who is coaching the lads defensively, but they need to start tightening up at the back. If you are in Abu Dhabi next week and you're going to the ADIPEC Conference and Exhibition, my suggestion is you get in touch with Craig International's Middle East Director, Steve Gibson, who's going to be in attendance. If you're looking for any type of procurement services, Steve will be able to talk you through exactly what Craig International can offer. So if you are in Abu Dhabi next week and you're going to the exhibition, look up Steve. His email address is there for you to see. Get in touch and see what Craig International can do for you. Right, a couple of last little bits and pieces to put in so I don't forget. Right, I want that. And I want this. And now we're done. Right, let's get back to you guys. Let me just get rid of that. And get rid of that. And get rid of that. Okay, so. Sequentia is here. He says, why could we not shut up shop and get that second goal yesterday? Instead, we allowed them to dominate after the break and we were lucky to get the win in the end. It was a very hard watch. John Kylo says, apparently Brexit is to blame for Lutz starting on the 10th. They have to apply for a visa. Yeah, you're quite right, John. You're quite right. Bob Duff says, young Dylan is actually a centre midfielder and hopefully he reverts there in time. However, he was very good at right wing back. Yes, Graham. I stand corrected. Oh, dear. Joseph Marshall said, all that's happened is a plaster has been put over the gaping wound. Again, there is an argument to it, and it is a valid argument. Bob Duff says, still think last night just kicks the can down the road for Yimmy, but I still hope he proves me wrong. Joseph Marshall says, we were shocking last night. Against any other team in the league, we would be thumped. Scott McLean says, passing back is not about coaching. It's a lack of confidence and lack of mettle. I completely agree, Scott. Neil Strachan says, good evening. His opinion is that we should be targeting third in the league. He thinks that we're back and that Yimmy is staying. Gavin Mills says, evening all, serious question. What position was Jensen even playing? He was all over the place and kept giving the ball away or passing backwards. Again, I have to be honest. He wasn't great. He really wasn't great again. Craig Moyer says, yes, it's all about getting the 3 points, but we don't half make it hard for ourselves. We should have been out to score more goals. Had Killy had a decent striker, we would have lost that. Lobben, superb yesterday. Neom says, 3 points over performance at the moment, no negatives. Let's see how it goes. David Gold says, evening dandies, a win is a win, but my eyes needed bleach after watching. Barry Cole says, I thought Jensen was better last night. Do you, Barry? Interesting take, mate. David Gold also thought he played better, but easily bullied. Aberdeen 225 has said, Scott Burns, the journalist that comes on here quite a lot, said today that Aberdeen and Hibs might look to loan in former Kilmarnock striker Bobby Wales. Anyone got any thoughts on that? Barry Cole says Jensen was going up for headers more and tackling more. Tutty Tree and Turd said hopefully the new sporting director can use his scouting knowledge and help Tulleen bring in better quality players. I just can't believe he's become a bad coach. Deck G says, evening dandies, how the heck did we win that game? Defending for our lives at time, but I'll take it every day. Good turnout for a Wednesday night game in Ayrshire. It's a fantastic effort, it always is. Bob Duff is suggesting that Mitchell Frame needs game time. Yeah, I'd like to see him soon as well, Bob. He says hopefully see him integrated in the first team soon. Simon Roy says, got the points, that's the main thing. A little bit of confidence before Larnaca, flying out on Tuesday. Oh, brilliant, Simon. Stephen Stewart says, great to see youth getting a chance. We need to blood the young ones in. Creaky at the back, but confidence will build the wall we need. Let's go, not far from the top six now, feeling a little less depressed. Good. Stuart McIntosh says, I was at the game last night. So frustrating that so many passes went back the way, but at the same time, when Jensen and others had the ball, there wasn't much movement from players further forward. So, oh dear. Football's such a simple game. Like tonight, okay, I'm going to give you the perfect example. Took Lennox, my eldest, to training tonight. And they did a drill tonight. It's very simple. It's just, oh God, honestly. Pass and move. Pass and move. Pass and move. What the coach wanted for those that did not have the ball, basically out of possession. So he played, what did he play? He played 4v4 in a small box-ish. And if you were out of possession, if you were on the attacking side, so let me explain. If you had the ball, you had to move. You were not allowed to stand still. And the coach basically punished them every time he felt one of the players stood still for longer than 2 seconds. Made them do 10 press-ups, whatever. If you were out of possession, you always had to move wherever the attacking player moved. So you were always shadowing, marking. Goal side, he kept shouting in German. He kept shouting goal side in German. And I'm just thinking to myself, you know, this is just basic football coaching. And last night, again, particularly in the second half, we were so static. Just static. There's no out. And I've got friends of mine texting me during the game saying, why are we so static? Why can't we pass and move? Pass and move. Pass, look for the second ball. I don't get it. I don't get it. Can somebody help me? Somebody? I think a lot of you enjoyed Killy TV last night. Oh dear. Yeah. I've had bits and pieces of it. David suggesting that he'd been better suited to horse racing. He was a wee bit at it, wasn't he? Oh dear. Bob Duff is suggesting that he thinks there might be more squad reshaping in January than previously expected. A few will go out, 1 or 2 in. Thanks, Barry. Ian Bucking said, wish Mitov wouldn't do the Highland fling before kicking a ball. It's scary. Ewan Sutherland said, last night dispelled the rumours about Tulleen having lost the dressing room. The attitude and commitment showed the players are still with him. Agree. Aberdeen 225 says, one thing Yimmy liked at Ellsberg was 2 first-team quality goalkeepers. Wouldn't be surprised if we get another keeper in January to challenge Mitov. Well, to be fair, mate, we've got 2 already. Fred McKenzie says he'll take the win. Kenneth McPherson's wishing you a good evening. Musical Box said he thought it was poor. Kevin Watt says, be brave and pick up your man at set pieces. It's basic defending. They needed to man up and take responsibility. Musical Box came back to say, we need to show more aggression and some pace. We signed a lot of wingers, but only one played yesterday. Graham Gibbs says, Ali, what boils me is the lack of movement at throw-ins. It's like the players are playing Squid Game. Sugarland says, no fight, no passion, no guile, no wisdom, and an apparent lack of fitness across the entire squad. Oh. Craig Moore says, thought Paul Vara gave us more energy in the middle of the park. Hopefully he gets a run in the team now. Barry's asking if any of you are going to Larnaca. So, just before we finish off tonight, a gentle reminder that Ali Beg AB TV is also brought to you by Quipco International, who are based in Abu Dhabi. They also service the oil and gas industry, particularly in that region, doing stuff like manufacturing and repair. There's just a handful of the services and products that they offer. For full services and full products, please do check out their website, quipco.com. And if you're looking for anything that can help service you in that industry, my suggestion is you give them a shout. So guys, we're just coming towards the end of the show. Don't forget to like the old show. It's helping massively with the algorithm. It really is. Don't forget to keep subscribing though. I know I keep banging the drum about it. And again, it remains a very high percentage of people that watch the show but don't actually follow, as in click the wee subscribe button. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. We're motoring now towards 4,800, which is fantastic. And the membership scheme is doing really, really well at the moment. So I'm very grateful to all of you who continue to pay your subs towards the membership scheme. Honestly, it helps me massively. You've got no idea. It's the wee things that generally make a huge difference here on the channel. Right, guys. So, got a wee break for a wee while. Going to be back on Wednesday for the preview show ahead of the game against Larnaca. If you weren't with me at the top of the show, I'm going to have a Cypriot football expert on the show to tell us all about Larnaca. In fact, I spoke to him today, and he's going to a big game tonight, Limassol or somebody like that. So he's in Cyprus at the moment, heading back to London where he lives at the beginning of the week. So he's very kindly offered to come on the show and tell us all about Larnaca. So really looking forward to that chat. So guys, listen, have a fantastic rest of your week. Have a great weekend. And I'll see you next Wednesday. Take good care of yourselves. See you soon. Stand free.